series may be called Dracula, but the one I'm standing for right now is Sister Agatha. Oh my God, it rhymed. Everyone, it's Sharana from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Netflix series Dracula, which is now streaming on the Netflix platform. The series actually aired earlier in the week on BBC, but I guess for the US distribution that Netflix is going to be handling it. But this comes from the creators of Sherlock, Mark Gatiss, and also to Stephen Moffat, who you also know from working on Doctor Who as well. So this series is based on the 1897 novel by Bram Stoker about Count Dracula. So, for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome, hello, I'm glad you came, I hope you stay. I'll tell you what I liked about this series, what I didn't like about the series, and should you basically spend your time binging this or not? There are a lot of shows and such little time to watch them all, so I'm here to give my recommendation for you. So going into what I enjoyed about Dracula. First and foremost, I have to say that Claes Bang, who actually portrays Count Dracula, I really enjoyed him. I felt as though while watching him, he's very charming, very charismatic, and he brings a nice personality to Dracula. Not like nice, but it's just a very engaging personality. I love how he's very sarcastic, but he's humorous at times as well. And I think he does a great job of balancing between when like Dracula is scary and then when Dracula is just like doing his own thing. He like, look, I'm like over 500 years old. I ain't got time to be playing with you guys. But I really enjoyed him. But guys, my favorite character of this entire series, it's only 3 episodes, hour and a half long episodes. My favorite character is played by Dorothy Wells, who plays Sister Agatha. Y'all, Sister Agatha. Now, Sister Agatha has a lot more personality in this series than what people may be used to in the novel. And I will say, for those of you who are like purists on the 1897 novel, there's changes in this version of it, and I think in most of the accounts outside, I think there's one they did in the 70s, probably the truest to that to the novel, but they definitely take they take the story in different routes, and I think some of those work, some of those ideas work, and some of them didn't. But I would say where they struck gold is with Sister Agatha. Dorothy just did such an amazing job as this nun who definitely has a personality of her own, and kind of as she comes into contact with Count Dracula, the exchanges, the interactions between them, she is just like a force to be reckoned with. And she gave me all of my life on screen. I don't want to give away too much, but she kind of plays a nemesis to Count Dracula, and I think it's very interesting with the changes and the liberties that they took with her character. And I think that a lot of people will actually be very excited about what they see from Dorothy as Sister Agatha on screen. She was hands down like my favorite character. I absolutely love her. I love how straightforward she is. She's rude, and she's actually one of the other characters who makes a lot of funny statements that I was just like, I can't believe she said that, but I was like, she has a point here. But I really, really enjoyed her. Like, let me say that one more time. I really, really enjoyed her. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Now also too, there's a new approach that they do take to Dracula, and how they tell it in three different episodes. And I thought that, especially with the first and second episode, and especially with how episode 2 leaves off, I thought it was very well done. I really love the pacing of it. I love how they chose to tell this story. And I think that it flowed very well, especially within the first 2 episodes. We're gonna get on episode 3, but that's gonna be when we get to what I didn't like so much about this series. But also too, I have to give a shout out to John Heffernan, who plays Jonathan Harker. I think he does an absolutely fantastic job. He's one of the first characters that we're really introduced to, and I just thought that he did such a phenomenal job. And I really love how kind of this entire series opens, how they choose to start to tell this story. And I thought it's just so well done, and he's another great actor in this series as well. Now, outside of everything that I did enjoy about it, I love when it gets dark, it's dark, but they find a great way to balance it. They do a great job of keeping you engaged with this story. Like, you want to keep watching as they I felt like I was sitting by a fire and someone said, Sharana, come here, let me tell you a story about Dracula. And I was just really engaged. I was like, oh my gosh, tell me so much more. I just really enjoyed how they put, especially episodes 1 and 2 together. Now, going into what I didn't like so much about Dracula, and that would be the execution of episode 3. Episode 3 feels like a completely different type of series from what we saw in episodes 1 and 2. It's a fun way how episode 2 ends and episode 3 begins. It keeps you very interesting because kind of as of the cliffhanger that it ends on. I think that it opened up very well the first couple of minutes of episode 3. But as we're introduced to new characters and these new liberties that they decided to take with episode 3, while very ambitious, it wasn't orchestrated well. It really just took me completely out of what I've been watching in the first and second episode. What I will say is kind of how episode 3 concludes. The last 10 minutes, it kind of wheeled everything back in. We kind of got back on track from where we were in episode 1 and 2. But at that point, it was 10 minutes left. The series was over. And so I was kind of just like, yo, this episode 3 ain't it. And I don't understand why they wanted to take such a drastic, different approach that really makes it feel as though you're watching a different series altogether. But even with the issues that I had in episode 3, what I would tell you guys to do with you in your time, I would definitely say this is worth a binge. I had a really great time watching this. I love most of the liberties that they took as they kind of veered into a different direction than what we're used to in the novel. I love that there are certain elements of the novel that are short, but they expanded upon that, especially within episode 2. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. Don't want to give any spoilers away. But for me, I really had a great time watching Dracula. I thought it was a very fantastic cast. I thought it was so well done. Kept me on the edge of my seat. I literally sat there and continued to binge each episode. And it's only 3 episodes. It's 3 hours and a half. You can binge through that really quick. You'll have a great time. You'll get your entire life. And if you're Dracula fans, I think you will have a good time overall. So those are my quick thoughts on Dracula. As always, my name is Sharana from Pay Your Weight. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.